104.7 The
Yep,
Cave,
there it
Mike
is.
the Intern, and
magic
now that he's
switch.
got his phone fixed,
Ta-da!
Jay Stevens in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 174. This week was Jay's pick, as he likes to do. He goes for the crazy girlfriend, boyfriend stories.
I see a red flag, and that's a signal for me to.
Like, hey guys, I'm going to tell you another story about the same thing again.
Come here.
But it's also definitely a crazy story. It's called Lover, Stalker, Killer. It just started on Netflix earlier in the month, probably because of Valentine's Day. But either way, it tells the story of a crazy situation involving a man who's just a regular little dude. He gets single. I think the first time in his life, he's like, okay, what's with this online dating
try
thing?
The dating app.
Let me check the online dating. But before we get into that story, that's where I want to start. Personally, I've been with my wife for 13 years now, and we got together right before like dating apps really started era? Like big time. I didn't even really, I've never, ever had the opportunity to go through that. And I think we've discussed this before.
We have. And
we always say, man,
we need to make ones just as a radio experiment. We need to make some just to see what happens.
Yeah, well, and then you run that by the missus.
I've tried to
that's not going to
feed my case.
It's a social experiment.
Yes,
it's Mike's making me do it. And
it's a work thing. It's a work
thing. She's not going to believe either one of those.
And then
is going to call me directly and ask me why I'm having her man set up a social dating platform, and then I'm in trouble.
Well,
nobody wants that. I'm not going to do that.
I have a social dating platform, and it's called Machine Gun Symphony.
Yeah, but it's not online. Well, it is kind of online, and I'm sure
the girls just show up. You know,
they get swiped
but
right
I've never had So long story short, I've never had a dating profile either, because this is
it seems to work. Our boy Tyler, he has
Magic Tyler. Is that what he does?
You would look at the kid and be like, oh my god, he's so shy.
I still haven't seen any of these two girls.
I don't think he's making it up. Why would he do that? Doesn't seem like a guy would make something like that up, especially at this age. Come on, man.
Maybe is he just scared to bring them around us?
That is a thought.
Come on, Tyler, bring the girls around Uncle Jay.
That's maybe why he does.
That's 100% why. 100% why.
Bring those girls around Jay. Yeah. Either way, we've never. So we're blind. But time and time again, we hear these stories. There was one recently about a woman who went on an online date and then got charged with harassment because she was sending this dude like thousands and thousands of messages a day.
There's crazy girls out there.
It happens. We saw it in that cult movie, Love Conquers All or whatever.
There's crazy dudes out there too.
For sure. Yeah. Unfortunately, in this online world we live in, people it seems they're getting more and more unhinged socially. They don't know how to act and what is good and what's not good. And that's exactly what we got in this story. Crazy, crazy story coming next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. "104.7 The Cave." Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 174, discussing Lover, Stalker, Killer on Netflix. Basically, we'll get back to the story now that we've talked about our ignorance when it comes to online social dating apps. And this tells a story again of a guy who is a mechanic in Omaha, Nebraska.
Seemed like a nice guy.
Not too far from here, just regular dude. Yeah. Good looking beard. He'd have been me. Could have been you.
He's got a baby mama and a kid. Yeah, he seems to be involved in their lives.
He's a cool dude. Yeah. And so he starts the online dating app, meets one girl. They hit it off a little bit, but he was pretty much upfront that this was just a way for him to kind of, I guess, reacclimate to the dating world. And he was like, no strings attached. And the reason I want to put that out there is that he was very, very forward in the fact that he said, look, I'm not looking for a long-term relationship here. If you are wanting to hang out and have a good time, great. But that's it.
Well,
we're not moving in together. We're not. I know you can say. Yeah,
I can speak from personal experience. A lot of times it starts like that. And both people are cool with just the casual thing, but sometimes they catch feelings.
Yep, they sure do. Anyway, without going any further into that, we talk about red flags a lot, right? But this guy other than that one kind of encounter that he had, couple encounters with this girl, she didn't really give him a whole lot of red flags out of the gate, because he didn't have any other reason to believe when he started seeing someone else in the same kind of regard that there would be issues with that. Because again, he claims that he was up front and said, look, I'm just trying to get back out there. Okay. So he starts seeing this other girl, and while he's with her, girl number one comes back. She's like, I got some stuff in your house or whatever, which is just like, there's your first red flag, hermano. But he's trying to be a nice guy. The other girl leaves. They kind of have an interaction, and then they go their separate ways, right? Then a few days later, the girl number two is staying at his house. He goes to work, and then he gets this really weird text message basically saying, let's move in together. And he's like, what? Why would you send me that?
Yeah, this got really weird and confusing.
Yeah, well, we find out why that is later on down the road. But so he gets this message from this girl, and he's like, what the hell is she talking about? Goes home, all her stuff's gone. She's gone.
And then he starts getting text messages from girl one, saying she's getting threatening messages from girl two. She's showing him it got super, super confusing because
I was like, well, that's so funny you say that.
Messages were coming from people's phones.
I'm watching this, and I'm like, Jay doesn't even like science fiction stories. Like, he's probably at home with a damn dry erase board trying to figure out, okay, wait, no, she sent her.
Yeah.
Wait, no. She sent her. Wait, and then wait, oh God. Then
it wasn't adding up. I'm like, this is crazy.
Well, and I think that was part of the plan, was to create so much confusion about what happened to girl number two.
Who's stalking who and who's threatening who.
So that if girl number one got brought up, it would be like, no, I'm getting them too. I don't know who's doing this.
Right, right.
That's essentially the cover. And a detective is going to see right through that. But eventually, this guy was getting just so much harassment. Obviously, girl number two was getting harassed too. Girl number one was claiming that people were hurting her animals or something like that. Oh,
and stalking. Like everywhere he'd go, he'd get text messages. I see you at so and so place. And like then started talking like his baby mama and family angle. And that's when he's like, all right, I got to get the cops involved.
And this house burned down.
Yeah.
Someone burned dude's house down.
Well,
again, this is because of like a couple dates.
This got crazy, dude.
It got really crazy.
And the craziest part was the messages were coming from this other girl's phone.
Yeah. And how would that happen if no one knows who she is, including her own mother, who is also getting crazy messages from that phone? And we'll talk more about that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The K. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens in the studio discussing what our job actually entails.
Waving red flags.
Dark Side of the Stream, episode 174, discussing lover, stalker, killer. So yeah, the back to what we were talking about. The craziness continues.
Yeah.
And the problem with when you do something like this from the perspective of the lover, stalker, killer is that when this lie starts, it can't ever go back, and it can't ever stop. It's just going to keep snowballing and snowballing and snowballing.
I think at one point I had an epiphany, and I go, okay, the messages are coming from this chick's phone. This chick, nobody is. And I was like, either two things are going on. Somebody got hacked, and they're doing a computer program version. They're texting through from somebody's phone, that person not knowing it, or that person's dead and they got her phone. And that was option two, and that's the option.
That's what happened.
Wow.
What she was actually planning to do, the woman who did all this stuff, was to frame him for that murder and to go as far as to shoot herself in the leg. Now, this is where she screwed up. She took too long to do all that stuff. She I don't know if she was hoping that maybe he'd see the light and this was the last part, but if she really was going to frame this dude, if she did it from the get-go, right, and actually just had, because it, in essence, I mean, an investigator probably would have found out. But if she was really going to try and do this, I think she took too long in finishing up this plan.
And the investigators were slick too, because
they knew what the hell was going on.
They spotted right away, okay, this chick's crazy, but we need more information, so we're going to play into her craziness. They're like, oh, tell us more. What? She's doing what? And this girl's like, oh yeah, and just Why haven't you arrested her yet? Well, we don't have the info. And basically just ratted the craziness out. They just let her talk.
And that, my friends, is my rule number one. You know, I'm a big proponent of our law enforcement, and you know that I protect and do everything I can to boast them up and boost them up. But at the end of the day, when it comes to law enforcement and you are in a situation where they're asking you questions, shut up and call your lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, shut up and find one.
But if you're crazy, you're going to keep talking.
The greatest strength every single police officer I know in my life that I'm friends with is they are the best listeners I've ever met. It is uncanny how well police officers are able to just listen, and you can see it in their eyes, how they listen and analyze even a simple conversation because it's in their training. So all they want to do is just lay it out and let you tell them.
Awesome.
Because they don't know the story. So why would you try and just let this crazy person talk? And that's exactly what they did. And it was a lot easier because she was insane and she did just let it spill.
And she shot her own self.
Yeah. And so after all that stuff, they had all the pieces. They just had to put it together, and it really wasn't that hard to figure it out because
they found an old file from the phone, and they found pictures of this girl's car that was dead. And
it was how in the hell did they get it?
Figured out that she killed her, and then she was sending messages from her phone.
I feel awful for her mother because she was just like pulled along, like they thought that she was in Kansas, and they all these weird things. But ultimately, and investigators think that the day that she had texted him that I want to move in, and then he came there and she was gone, was the day that she was murdered. And then that was that. We will get, and then obviously the woman who committed this, she was convicted of, I believe, murder in the first degree or second degree or something like that. But yeah, she ain't getting out anytime soon. We'll be back with our review of this crazy story, Lover, Stalker, Killer, next Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio one more time. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 174, Lover, Stalker, Killer. How many red flags would you give this documentary?
I'm giving 4 massive red flags.
4 massive red flags.
Yeah, I mean, whew, talk about, I know some psycho girls. This one took the cake, you know?
And dude,
good thing I don't know this psycho girl. Gosh.
What's the cancel? Is it swipe left or swipe right?
Swipe left to not get it right.
Not get it.
I know at least that much.
Left all day. I'd agree. It'd be 3.5, 4 red flags for me.
Yeah, just because it was so insane.
It's a fever pitch, and it really doesn't stop.
No.
You're just like, what?
Yeah,
what?
it's very confusing. You have to pay attention. You know.
Oh, that's basically how it goes.
Yeah.
What?
No. Oh, that's how we both watch it.
So as we do, we watch movies, so you don't have to. There you go. That's the movie. What?
It's probably worth watching just to see how crazy.
Hey, actually,
we didn't make it sound as crazy as it actually was.
It's a damn good option of if you're out there trying to date on social apps, and how you should probably not sleep with someone immediately at the gate and keep it to public places so the chick doesn't know where you are.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. Don't
let her know you're home.
Yeah, might not. Or maybe just tell them your name is Jay Stevens or something. Just put the sweat on him so they actually know who you are.
I've got enough.
You got enough problems.
I got enough fire on my end.
Either way, as always, we've got a homework assignment for you next week. We're going to do the documentary on Max. It's called They Called Him Mostly Harmless. This was suggested by our good friend Joe Weston. Said, "Go watch this one." Said, "Okay, we will." So now that's the next one we're doing. It's kind of a crazy story in its own, but it's definitely not about social dating apps. As always, we do this live every Thursday, 9 a.m. or 6 p.m. on my show or Jay's show, or you can watch us do it live on Facebook or YouTube at 9 a.m. on Thursday mornings, or download this as a podcast for free on our 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens reminding you we watch movies so you don't have to. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.